So very good evening to you all. So welcome to this course on operations management. And today we are going to talk from materials management. We are going to talk about overall what is meant by material management and discuss the various aspects of material management. So let us get into the course details. Now first, let us understand what is the concept of material management. So material management is actually a process. You can see in the particular slide, there are 4 stages here. The first involves planning, and the second involves the procuring, and the third involves storing and utilizing. So each step is very important. So planning is very important. So you have to know, you have to plan what you need to buy, what time you need to buy. It's all very important. Okay. And procurement is very important because all the raw materials you want, you can't make it yourself. You have to. There will be vendors, there will be suppliers. So procurement is a very important thing. And whatever you actually procure, it has to be very, very safely stored. And a lot of parameters are there in storing also. And once it is stored, it has to go back properly to where it is to be used. For example, it has to go back to the factory. Okay, it has to, for example, you purchase a raw material and you have to go back to the vendor. So that utilization is also very important. And the key words here is at the right time. So you have to do the procurement at the right time and utilize at the right time. And the place is also very important with respect to storing. And quantity of purchase is also very important. That is why they use the variables called right time, place, and quantity. So quantity means you can't purchase because cost is involved. You have to purchase the right quantity, and all these while also maintaining the quality and minimizing the costs. Okay, so can you see how important is material management? So it looks a very simple word, but if you look at it, actually there are a lot of very crucial things lying underneath. So you got to do the planning first. Then you have to smartly procure it depending on the vendors and the suppliers. And storing is very important. You need to store it safely and you have to retrieve it safely. And also you got to utilize the materials within that particular organization, utilize the materials. It has to go to the shop floor, and the keywords are the right time, the right place, and the right quantity. And quality is also very important. Also the cost factor is very important. So you can see so many variables are to be balanced. And these are some of the basic principles of material management. So as I already told you, because there is involved procurement, planning, and storing. And so effective management and supervision is very, very important. So, once it comes under effective management and supervision, then we need to do all these management functions like planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, reporting, and budgeting. These are all coming under the effective management and supervision because as you can see in the introduction, these needs to be captured. And the purchasing method has to be very, 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 very logical, very, very scientific, and very, very sound. Because you can't purchase from any vendors, right? You need very reliable vendors, very reliable suppliers, the right time and the right cost. So purchasing is very important, sound purchasing. And once you purchase, you can't like that purchase, right? Because you have to purchase at a very, very competitive rate and also without compromise in quality. So that is where negotiation and skillful negotiation comes into the system. And overall, the process should be very simple. It should not be very complicated. So these are some of the basic principles of material management. And further, some more concepts with respect to the material management. So if we talk about supply chain, when we understand what you mean by supply chain is the entire chain of activities, right from the raw material to the end customer. There are so many intermediaries in between. The entire connect is called the supply chain. And material management is a very, very key aspect in respect to supply chain aspect. And here in material management, the other important thing which we do is actually we also control and regulate the flow of the materials. When you talk about the flow of the material, it can be a raw material, it can be a work in process, it can be a finished goods. And by doing this parallelly, we have to assess the variables like demand, the price, and the availability of the materials, raw materials, and as I told you, very important, the quality and also the schedules, which are actually delivery schedules of the suppliers, vendors, as well as the customers. And this is these material management overall encompasses all these activities. So right from the particular raw material to a finished product, it encompasses everything. And this is one more visual representation of the process of material management. First, we start with material planning. Once we are done with the planning, then we actually go for the process of purchasing. Once we are done with the purchasing, then what we actually do is there is a process of storekeeping. Basically, it is ensuring the materials are stored properly, are retrieved properly, so are accounted properly. A lot of aspects come into the storekeeping. And this is a very important technique, area, inventory control. So the raw material, work in process, and finished goods, they all involve money. So we need to control this process. There are a lot of techniques like ABC analysis, lane management, just fine. So that we'll be seeing in a separate discussion, but these are the areas. And then material handling. The materials which are actually stored need to be handled in a very, very professional way, using a lot of equipments in a very, very scientific way. That is called material handling. And this is the scope. What are the areas where material management covers? So as I told you, first, obviously it covers the material planning and control. Then we have already discussed the purchasing part. Then we have the stores management, and then we see the inventory management part. And as I told you, in inventory management, there are a lot of techniques, which is actually the other related functions. And this is one more aspect of material management, which you've already seen. And this is a simple organization structure. See, we know that we need to control the budgets for the purchasing management, right? So this is actually the organization structure which is going to support this. So you know, at the start of the CEO, the managing director, and then it comes to the budget team, and then again comes down to the officer level. And these are the various functions and the various activities. Actually, we can see, you know, it is a comprehensive view of the organization chart for the budgeting control. And with respect to material management, today we have a system called MRP. MRP is actually called Material Requirement Planning. It's a system. It's a system today. It is highly driven through the software. It is automated. Basically, it helps the particular organization to manage the inventory in a very, very efficient manner in the manufacturing process. And this particular material requirement planning organization use this material requirement planning systems, where they can estimate what are the raw schedules as well as what are the raw materials, quantities. Everything is actually coming and done through the material requirement. So this is one more aspect which comes under the material planning. First, we start with projection and forecasting. Then we go for the capacity needed. Then there is something called the manufacturing ordering size, how much you should order, the customer demand, and warehouse capacity. So these are some of the benefits of material planning, which is very clearly obvious. And this already we have seen. And this is some of the importance of the material planning, which also so there is something called bill of material exposure. This is actually a documentary thing where we actually work out what are the raw materials required and past consumption. This is an example of a sheet. So thank you very much for this, hearing this patiently. Thank you very much.